We had plenty of requests about hybrids and what head style suits what player type. So what we're going to do is hit each one of these, wood style, iron style, and kind of mid-range, and see what they do and who they're going to suit best. Let's hit some shots. Hybrids are tricky creatures all around in that there are so many different styles, so many different lofts, so many different kind of head shapes. Working out why the head is going to suit the player and you know, why you should be using each different head really is quite a tough one. So what we're going to do here is just give you a bit of an A/B about why certain head styles will suit a particular delivery pattern and the kind of things you should be looking for, and most importantly why they're going to suit a certain player style. So we're going to start off here, Ping G430, kind of real kind of mid-range. Look at this, why it works, and then switch to some different styles. So very, very versatile kind of club, this one. Sits beautifully, sits down to the ball nicely, shows all the loft with the markings on the face. You know, visually a very comfortable head for a lot of players, but sits right in the middle ground. And I'm going to explain as we hit what that means. So if I just take a neutral swing here, you know, what the ping head does really well is it collects the ball off the turf well. So it gets into the bottom of the ball. You haven't got to really kind of hit down on it too heavily. You haven't got to lift it into the air, but it's a very versatile all-round head, very user-friendly. So what a lot of players in the bay have said, they feel very comfortable this is going to help get the ball airborne, but crucially it doesn't balloon it. So you don't have to do too much with the head, but it gives a real help in picking that ball nicely off the turf without popping the ball up too much and without overspinning it. So as an all-around head, very versatile. You know, the ping as a start point, slightly kind of shallower profile, not too deep. Sits nice flat sole, sits down to the ball well. You know, really versatile all-around head. So as a start point, this is generally a good place to begin. And then looking at how that contact's going, if you're looking for a little bit more flight, or if you tend to hit down on it more, you've got places to go, which is where we're going to go next. So I'm going to switch over to a more iron-like product. So from the ping head, you know, it sits in that middle ground. We're going to go to the TaylorMade, the QI10 Tour. So, you know, more compact head, a little bit smaller. So you can see from the shaping point of view, much shorter front to back. So what that does is that puts the centre of gravity further forward, more towards the front of the head. And that's really crucial as to why it works better for someone who's more of an iron ball striker, hits down on it a little bit more. The further back from the face the weight is, the more that weight gets low and under the ball and collects it. Now, if you hit down on it, then if the weight gets too far back, it's actually chopping underneath the ball, and then you get inconsistent strike. And with hybrids in particular, and more than any other club, the head style is really critical to getting consistent contact. So let's change the setting here. So this is where we start to look more at your delivery and why this head style is going to suit someone who traps it and hits down on it more. So if I, first things first, if I try and sweep this and collect it more like a wood, because the head's smaller, the centre of gravity sits higher up. So if you pick it, it doesn't actually get into the bottom of the ball. So I put a wood-like swing on here, a shallower hit. Now, a little exaggerated, but that's just top thinned. So what happens is the centre of gravity sits above the line of the ball and it doesn't get into it and doesn't flight it up. So I've launched that at 4 degrees. Now, if you're on a links into wind, great. Not a lot of use for where most people play a hybrid from, which is to get it up and to get it flighted. So in order to do that, I've then got to get the weight, that centre of mass, down into the back of the ball. So by hitting down on it more, we're getting into the bottom of the ball, ball comes up. So I'm going to play this a little bit more like I would a mid-iron. And up the ball goes. So one, much more solid contact, much more solid sound, the real guts of the weight into the back of the ball. But ironically, hitting down on it more has helped it go up. Now if I hit down on it more with a more wood-like head, it spins. This one keeps the flight in a nice window. It's not an overly low spin head, but it is designed to bring that launch angle down a bit and suit that more covered delivery. So as an iron player, whilst technically not the most forgiving head in the world, if you're a downward striker of the ball and you trap it, something like this is going to give you much more consistent contact. Now we're going to go to the other extreme now, into a much more wood-like head, and show the contrast there. So again, looking at, we've got Titleist TSR1. So again, if I can hold this correctly, you'll see the huge contrast in size between the two heads. So in the Titleist head, the weight sits much further back from the face. And you're going to go toe end on here. See, it's much shallower and deeper. Essentially, if you go back 20 years, this Titleist hybrid is basically the size of an old fairway wood. Again, compare that to the Ping. Again, still a decent bit bigger than the Ping head as well. So we're really going to a much more wood-like product now. Actually, a lot of golfers this sort of thing suits. You know, the hybrids and this bit of the bag, the top end of the irons into the woods, we're looking to get the ball up and get it flighted and get carry distance. And most people here are playing into green, so we're wanting to get it landing soft as well. So a low, flat, hot flight with a hybrid, whilst it goes a long way, not a lot of use if you're trying to hold a green. So I'll log this one in here again. What this head does is it sets that weight much further back from the face, much lower. So for someone who's more of a picker or looking to get the ball airborne and spinning, this then works under the ball, pops it up, which you're about to see now. So key thing with this, because the head's a little bit bigger, I don't want to be hitting down on it too much, because that then causes the backspin to really flare up. But this allows me to shallow it out and collect the ball, not have to throw the weight down to the bottom of it. Allows me to collect it and pick it and flight it up. So I can really just collect this like I would a fairway would. Up the flight goes, and that's really launched. So you picked up a huge amount of launch angle there, but without me having to throw the weight into the bottom of the ball, I can just literally pick it off. And for a club that's the same loft, we've gone from a 12-degree launch angle to a 17-degree launch angle, which is massive. So for someone who's looking to really get it airborne, the bigger head style here makes a huge difference. If I then go and hit this one more like an iron, more like we did with that TaylorMade head, just to see where that spin kicks to. Yeah, trap it and just cut it a little bit, which is what most players do. You know, we've gone from a 3,700 spin and a 17 launch to a 15 launch and 4.2. So we're really kind of keeping launch angle, you know, for a head that this is a 20-degree lofted down. The TaylorMade was a 19.5 in its standard. We're still, even hitting down on it by 4 degrees, we're still seeing 3 degrees more launch. So again, that pitch of flight, you can really tailor the head style into what the player needs from a flight point of view and a striking point of view. So hybrids in particular, the shaft's massively critical from a timing and a kind of, I guess, a swing consistency point of view and delivering the head, but how you deliver the head is massively critical to what head style is going to give you consistency of flight, consistency of contact, because of how that mass gets into the bottom of the ball, and therefore consistency of result, which is really what we're looking for from all of these clubs in this part of the bag. A reliable, dependable club that gives you good flight and good distance. So hope that helps in terms of looking at the base styles of head. Thanks for the request for this. Any other requests you want, let us know. We've got loads of time and loads of facilities to do the filming, and look forward to putting together videos that you want to see out on our channel. So like, subscribe, and have a look at all the other videos we've done as well.